In this video, I'm going to take you behind the scenes on a video shoot I did for a coffee roasting company using the Sony FX6 and the a7S III. And if at any point during this video you get some value, please give it a like. Here's the story. And we open up with the FX6 using the Sony 50mm f1.2, and as you can see we've got lots of beans. And the majority of these shots were taken handheld using a Cine Saddle. And here's a shot of me using the Cine Saddle and the setup. I also had another camera operator with me on the day and he used the same setup. And all this footage was shot 4K 50p, and we shot 50p so we're able to slow down the footage in the edit. And here's an example of the slow motion. Lots of beans. And all of these shots were shot at f1.2 because when you have an f1.2 lens, the novelty is there to shoot everything wide open. And I think in future I'll probably stop it down to maybe an f2 just so I've got a bigger depth of field, maybe even f2.8. And to control the light in these shots, I had the electronic variable ND on, and that did a really good job keeping the exposure where I'd want it. And I had it set to a +1 AE as well, so it was one stop overexposed. There was a bit of an autofocus jitter there. I think because it was all being shot at f1.2, it is a tall order to ask the camera to have everything in focus all the time, know what to keep in focus the whole time. It is a pretty difficult thing for the FX6 to do, but it does do a great job most of the time. If you want to avoid having those focus jitters or whatever, then I would suggest having it at an f2.8 to eliminate that. And now you can see some shots using the clear image zoom. So using the 50mm lens, when I use clear image zoom and go to the full 1.5 magnification, it changes the 50mm lens into a 75mm lens. Now I've got some more shots of Lockie drinking coffee and pointing at the tasting wheel. For this shot, the client wanted to have a looking down shot. So here is what we rigged up with the a7S III. And then we also had the FX6 recording the action at the same time. And now we can have a look at the overhead shot, and it looks like this. And then we mocked up some click and collect shots as well. Very friendly. And then we went onto the tripod and did some talking to camera shots. And we just used natural lighting for these shots. Normally I'd have a 120D set up with a lantern or a light dome, but I opted for natural lighting today because I wanted to test out what the 50mm lens would look like in natural lighting and if I really did need to bring in extra lighting. And now we've got some coarse coffee grounds at f1.2. And then we did some shots illustrating what it looks like when the coffee grounds are too coarse. So it's not very good coffee. And then we've got the finely grounded coffee beans at f1.2, and you can see that really shallow depth of field. And while my other camera operator was getting video, I was getting some photos as well. And here are some examples of the photos that I got. And now we've got some more B-roll of coffee being made. And this is all with the Sony 50mm f1.2. And then some drinking coffee shots. I also set up a motion control slider so I could get some wide shots while Lockie was creating his coffees. And ultimately I didn't end up using these shots, but I do like this setup and I'll probably utilize this in future shoots. I do like the subtle movement that the slider gives, and it just adds a little bit extra to the video production. And that's the video. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel for more videos on video creation in the future.